All right, boys and girls, we are going to be looking at some geometry vocabulary. Now, for the worksheet that you have seen, some of this has letters. We're not going to worry about these letters right now. That is for later on in our unit, but right now we're not worried about them. All right, so the first 4 vocabulary words that we are going to focus on. The first one we're going to look at is point. Now, a point is literally just a dot. So a single dot. So just like that. It's very simple. We'd already know. The next one we're going to look at is a line. So we're going to look at a line. Now a line is, we know that a line is straight. We know that a line goes on forever, and it's made up of points. So a line is literally tons and tons of little points really, really close together to make up a line. And do you see how this line has 2 little arrows on the sides? That shows us that it goes on forever. So even though I didn't draw it, it still goes on. However, sometimes we want lines to stop, and that's called a line segment. So a line segment is still straight, but it has an end and a beginning point. And we show that with 2 little circles like this. So we have our line, and we have a place where it starts and a place where it stops, just like that. Sometimes we want to do a combo of a line segment and a line, and that is called a ray. So a ray is also straight, has a start, but it has no end. And we show that by drawing a circle to start the line and an arrow to end, because that says that this keeps going. It can also go like this, and then your line would just continue this way. So those are your first. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out what we can do with lines. Now, when 2 lines meet, it's called an angle. And in this case, we're talking about a right angle. A right angle is the amount of degrees inside the 2 lines. And in this case, it's 90 degrees. The way to tell a right angle is it looks like a L. So if you think of like a capital L, that's what it looks like. So we can say it has 90 degrees inside, and one line is horizontal, and one line is vertical. Now, think about right angles. You can think about like if you have your door. So here's your door. A right angle is the corner right here, right here, right here, and right here. So a door has 4 right angles. You can also think about like a window. How many right angles do you see in a window? Look at your room. How many right angles do you see? All right, the next one we're going to talk about is perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines are 2 lines that intersect, which means they cross at 90 degrees. So that's just like this, where one goes straight up and down and one goes left to right, straight. And inside we have 4 right angles. Now, A great way to think about it, perpendicular lines is an intersection at a road. So if I was going to have a road like this, you can see, I mean my drawing's not great, but you can see that we have two lines that are perpendicular. So let's look at our lines a little bit. So you see I have one line here and one line here, just like that. All right. So then we have intersecting lines, not perpendicular. So if they just cross, so intersecting equals crossing. So if they just cross, but they don't go straight up and down and left to right, then we just call them intersecting. And the last one is parallel lines. Parallel lines are two lines that either go left to right or up and down or side to side, but they never, ever, ever in a million years cross. All right, so we are going to be looking at parallel lines a little closer. So the first thing is they never, ever touch. So let's look at some shapes. So for example, if I was going to have a shape that looks like this, can you find the parallel lines? So let's look at these two lines first. Now, to see if they touch, we can imagine that these lines go on forever. Even if they went to the moon, would they touch? No. So we say that these green lines are parallel. Let's look at the other two lines. This line and this line. If we were to extend them this way, would they touch? No, because it gets wider, right? But if we went this way, oh, they touch right there. So the orange is not parallel, but the green is. All right, so we are now looking for examples and non-examples. Non-example means not. So something that's not a parallelogram, not a rhombus. So let's look at a parallelogram first. A parallelogram, so we're going to go read the definition, is a quadrilateral, which means a shape with four sides with two pairs of parallel lines. So there's going to be two pairs of lines, so four lines that don't touch. So let's think of an example of a parallelogram. So the first one that comes to mind, if I draw two straight up and down, they will never, ever, ever touch, and two horizontal, they will never, ever touch. That is my attempt at a square, is a parallelogram. Now let's just double check. Does it have four sides? Yes. Does it have two pairs of parallel lines? Yes. Now a non-example. So something that's not a parallelogram. A circle. Does it have four sides? Nope. So it can't be a parallelogram.